So recently you surfed 100 days?
Yeah, it actually came out 103.
103, that's what I
Mm.
was wondering. And I feel like it's an interesting thought just because it made me wonder how many days I surfed in the year.
Yeah.
So is that something that you started from like January 1?
January 1 last year. Yeah. Every year, New Year's Eve comes. What's your New Year's resolution going to be? My wife's always trying to do something real serious. And pretty much every year I tell her, I just want to surf more this year. That's my goal. And we laugh it off. Okay. Real funny. But so I actually decided to do I guess something measurable to actually go through with it. The main goal wasn't the number of days, it was just to keep track of it. And I figured keeping track of it, kind of like a journaling type thing, keeping track of it would give me motivation to get out there more often. I figured that I probably usually do between 50 and 80 days, maybe. And so, a little bit of a stretch goal to try and get me out there on days I normally wouldn't go. And that's kind of, what started it. It was
Did it feel like a better year because you had more time in the water?
Um, it shifted my focus a little bit, so I think it was good in some ways and not as good in others. So it was really good in when we have periods where we're not surfing a lot and you just feel really down. It's like, I really want to surf. I'm not surfing enough. There's no waves. You almost have a record to look back and be like, oh, I actually have surfed a good amount. Um, and where am I on target for this goal? Um, and instead of looking for a swell upcoming that's going to be head high and barreling to get you excited, I'm looking forward to a swell that, maybe it won't be that, but it's going to be waist high and glassy. All right, well, that'll give me 1 or 2 days that I can go out and, log a day and have some fun. And it, won't take up my whole day. I might not have to take the day off work to go out there, but, it kind of gives you something to look for in a different frame of view, which is cool. Then on the flip side, I feel like sometimes on really good days, I would just go out and catch a few waves and be like, okay, I got my day. Let's go. I'm going to go do something else now.
Hmm. Yeah. I I guess I was just wondering when you got to like 50 days, were you halfway through the year or
No,
no?
I was behind the entire year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you had to put in some extra time.
Well, I mean, when do you start? January and February. I mean, how often do you guys
Oof,
think you surf in January and February?
it's rough.
We actually got lucky last year. We did 22
That's right.
days in
You
a
guys, you
row.
guys were you guys were in Puerto Rico, but I
Yeah,
was here, so it was
right.
like 5 days, right?
Yeah.
I surfed. I think it was maybe 6 in January and 4 in February, and I'm like, all right, good. Well, I'm behind, but at least I got some days. I think I can think of some winters where I might not surf for all of February or all of
Yeah.
January or
It
something.
also gets dark at 4:30.
Yeah, yeah. Getting off work, getting out there, it's cold. It doesn't look good. Days you would go out in the summer, you're not going out. So it is harder in the winter. So you start off behind. The spring was, spring you surf a lot. And then summer, ironically enough for me, I don't surf that much in the
Mm.
summer. I'm just doing other things, fishing, or I don't know, the, I don't enjoy the summer crowds or the summer waves. They're weak and
You'd probably
um,
log in trip days though in the summer.
I did 2 trips in the spring and 1 in the fall. No, so I didn't really have any
Yeah.
summer
Okay.
trips. So, yeah, the summer was low, and then, of course, you're just banking on the fall. All right, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
15 days in August, 15 days in September, 15 days in October, and it kinda worked out that way, but I was still behind going into December. But our December this year was fantastic.
Yeah.
I surfed as much in December as almost any other month.
Yeah, you would have been screwed if we didn't have that many waves.
Well, I had 10 days left to do in December, and I didn't know if it was gonna happen. But yeah, I overshot it in December. It was
Yeah.
good.
Um,
I have some data then. So how out of you did 102 days?
103.
103.
Yeah.
How many of those days were on a longboard, do you think?
I did section it out per board. I
Oh,
grouped some
cool.
stuff.
Okay.
I don't have it with me, but it was around in between 15 and 20
On the
on
longboard?
the 10-foot board.
Okay.
But that being said, I rode that board on actually some really good days,
Mhm.
but I just took it to places that, you needed a longboard to get to, either to paddle or the waves had flat spots in them or something. So those weren't necessarily small days. But that board did definitely give me probably a dozen days that if I didn't have a board like that, it wasn't happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wonder for all the longboarders if you are just like a longboard fanatic, if you could easily hit 200 days a year.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too,
I mean,
maybe.
you can surf every day in the summer.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't surf but 15 or 20 days through the whole summer. So
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of guys are doing that each month in the summer,
yeah.
especially if you live out at the beach.
What
Um,
about so what was the board then that gave you most days?
You guys could probably guess.
Yeah, just a 20.
Yeah.
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 The candy cane had the
Nice.
most days. Yeah,
Do you
for
know
sure.
roughly how many that was?
Around third, a little over 30, maybe
Okay.
30 or 35 on the candy cane. So there's more days on each board than days total because some days
Oh,
I'd
I
ride
see.
more than
I
one
see it.
board.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So candy
that's
cane was number one. What was surprising that came in second was like I kind of grouped two boards. I have a 6-8 egg, then I made a new 6-6 egg. So that one kind of replaced it. So I grouped those two together. It's kind of the same board. And that one was probably the one I used the second most.
yeah. And then also like a 6-hour session day, you feel like it counts more, but it's just
One day.
one day.
Yeah.
So you might think you've been surfing a bunch, but
Yeah. So, I mean, probably the least amount was probably like 10 minutes, 3 waves. I mean, I made the mark of it had to catch 3 waves. I think that only happened once. I had
yeah.
quite a few days that were maybe just 5 waves. I go, all right, I'm going to get 3 waves. I go out. Oh, let me get a couple more, but pretty short sessions. Those were the days of just, okay, I've got some time. The waves aren't good, but they are rideable. I'll go get a day.
Yeah. I saw you running out there and it was dead low tide. It was a fun day, but then you stubbed your toes, bleeding, and I was like, "Dang, he's really going for it."
Yeah.
And then
That was a good day.
yeah.
I was pretty mad that my toe was all busted up.
That was right before you paddled out.
Yeah.
Mm,
Happens.
yeah.
I was a little too excited. It happened to me in the Outer Banks this year too. It was the other toe, and it had just healed. And then when I saw you that day, it was the other toe that
God.
happened.
I guess any other data, any other fun data from that?
How many tube
Um,
days do you think there were on
Tube
Folly?
tube days on Folly. I don't know. I did ride my 6-3 step up maybe half a dozen times, so that was cool. And I
Yeah.
did ride my 6-0 shortboard way more than I thought I would. That one was almost as much as the egg.
Nice.
You can kind of look at that and be like, oh, those were pretty good days.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, I think we should if we kind of put it in there, we should get people to, if they have the time, if they could like figure out a way to total. I wonder if who got the most days for 2023 in Charleston.
Yeah.
I can make some guesses right now who that person would be.
Probably somebody you don't even know who
That's
just
what-
lives at the beach and
Yeah.
just surfs every day.
Yeah, there could be someone who 365'd it and we don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh. February, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
I was
remember.
talking with Damaris about it, and she says that she does it like that's just part of her whole surfing experience. That she likes to log it and journal it.
Yeah.
And I think she was telling me she went for 180 days one year, so it was basically half the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes those extra 80 days would take a lot because especially if you're surfing around here mostly, because those extra 80 days are going to be in not very good conditions.
Yeah.
I mean,
you saw 100.
I didn't grovel that much. I was looking through all of it, and most of the days were, waist to chest high, just kind
That's
of
encouraging.
just kind of a normal fun day around here. I think I did 60 something days at the washout, probably 20 days traveling, Florida or getting on a plane somewhere in North Carolina, and then probably 20 days around here, either, at the pier or the mid streets or, elsewhere, taking the boat out or going out to the
Yeah.
inlets or something.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that you tracked a lot more than just the days.
Yeah, I would put in, okay, I surfed today, where I surfed, what board I rode, and just, a quick thing about the conditions, size would be like waist high, and either glassy or choppy kind of thing.
Huh. Yeah.
Do you think your fish is the best board for folly? Not like your fish, but that design, or do you think like
Uh,
like what would
for
be?
me,
Yeah,
yeah, not for everyone. For me,
right. So for 2024, will you try to up the days, keep it the same, or just not even do the game?
no game, not this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had fun with it, but I wasn't really motivated to do it. I may do something
Is it because you're
else.
so behind right now?
No, it's
No,
4 days in, or
no. My one New Year's resolution was just to take my wife on a date every one day a month at least. So
yeah,
that's a pretty low goal. That should already be happening anyways. But
yeah.
with 3 kids and surfing 100 days, you don't get as many dates in. So that's my goal this year.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good turn
Yeah.
from yeah
Yeah,
last year. That's awesome.
I think
I
I'm motivated to. I think I'm gonna log it this year.
It was fun.
I think it'll be fun.
I enjoyed it.
I think last year I bet I probably hit about 150.
It definitely. I want to say it probably put me out there. I want to say at least 20 days I wouldn't have already gone, and probably 15 of those days I was really glad that I went. So that's a fairly positive impact on your year. An extra 15 days in the water that you wouldn't have gone. That
Yeah.
got some extra motivation to get out there. There were some days that I went out and was, all right, I got my day. I wish I would have been doing something else, but
Yeah.
usually not.
Yeah. Dang. You can do those on any day though.
But I mean,
Is
100.
serving behind the boat count?
No, that's separate. I think I got about a dozen
Yeah.
days behind the boat. I didn't include that, but 100 is not that many. If you total, there's 52 weeks in the year, so you're basically weekend warrior status. You just go Saturday and Sunday every week. That's whatever 104 days. So
Yeah.
I'm basically championing a weekend warrior lifestyle.
That's
Yeah.
depressing.
Yeah.
But around here, it's that's a decent goal. I feel like
Yeah, because I was just thinking like the normal California dude.
where you surf every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you only went 100 days, you're kind of a Barney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this conversation is really specific.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't travel outside the East Coast, probably.
No. And maybe
Southeast.
even outside of South Carolina.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty low for Florida too, even.
Yeah. Yes. Certain parts for sure.
It'd be fun if someone from Jacksonville or New Smyrna would be a lot, but from somewhere if they could chime in. I'd just be curious to see how much more surf they're getting down there.
Yeah.
Wrightsville too, if you're
Yeah.
listening.